This new coalition between OPEC and Russia absolutely has been a sea change. If you think back to the Cold War, you had Saudi Arabia and Russia on opposite sides of the Cold War. Most recently, if you look at conflicts like Syria, you've had Russia and Saudi Arabia, again, on opposite sides. The idea that they could put their foreign policy differences aside and come together to balance the oil market, I think a lot of people were very skeptical about that. Russia and Saudi Arabia came together to really respond to complaints of consuming countries, I would argue probably most notably the United States, and they announced a very large supply increase beyond 1 million barrels. And that took a lot of the other producers by surprise. OPEC has always said, we try to balance the interest of producers and consumers. What I think is very different this time is one of the largest consumers, the United States, has been very, very public about displaying their disaffection with OPEC. You had President Trump issue a dramatic Twitter statement criticizing the organization in April. Since then, you've had this back and forth publicly between the White House and OPEC. The Saudis have said that their decision to put additional barrels on the market is being driven by a whole host of concerns. They cite India, they cite China, and then they cite the United States. While they never publicly come out and say this is in direct response to Donald Trump, I think the decision to pull out of the Iranian nuclear deal by the White House and to remove or attempt to remove so many Iranian barrels from the market, that has really forced Saudi to have to step up and say they will help the US administration out. Where does this leave the rest of OPEC? What started off as an oil deal between Russia and OPEC has really turned into a trade deal between Russia and key countries like Saudi Arabia. And this partnership now seems to extend beyond oil. We've had a number of investment deals signed. That is really in response to concerns about what is the future of oil going to be. And I think that is the big existential question that investors, that heads of state of these countries are facing in terms of what is going to be the demand for this product. If we look at the uptick of electric vehicles, for example, that is forcing whole conversations about should these countries that are primarily dependent on oil revenue, should they take the steps now to diversify their economies to better prepare for these energy transitions?